Yes, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem HaKakodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, salutation to the Akiam, preaching the truth to the four corners of the earth in sincerity, right? My name is Brother Yakal from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp in Trinidad. I want to say shalom. Right, the name of this video is going to be the angels which kept not their first estate. Right, so let me go down into it one time. I want to bring out a few precepts before I really go down into it. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 14 and verse 3. Right, because the elect is the angels that kept not their first estate, but I want to go down into it, right? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 14 and verse 4. It said, "These are they which were not defiled with women," you understand, which represents philosophies, doctrines, right? These men would not be defiled with it. It says, "For they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth," which is Yahushai. Yahushai is the Lamb. So they follow the Lamb wheresoever he goeth, meaning every way. You understand? And everything that they do, they follow the Lamb, right? Even through the generations, if you want to go a little deeper, all through the generations. Because we know we believe in reincarnation. So right through the generations, the prophet of the Lord, the elect, they was following Yahushai. That is why he said, follow me through the regeneration. Because right, every time he came back, right, from Adam straight down, every time he came back, the elect was there following him. The elect was right there with him. Always following the Lamb, right? That's why it say, these are they which follow the Lamb whatsoever he goeth. It said, these were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto Yahweh and to the Lamb. And that's how we are thing, being the first fruits, because that will make you know that they were the angels that kept not their first estate, right? So and the best part about it, the upper part, is when it says being the first fruits unto Yahweh and to the Lamb. So because the elect is really Yahweh own, you understand, and Yahweh gave the elect to Yahushai. Right, and I'll prove that in John, right, the book of John, because I was reading this with our brother the other day, and I love it. You understand? This is John 17 and verse 6. Right, it says, "I have manifested thy name unto the men which thou givest me." This is Yahushai speaking. "Out of the world." Right? When you read Hebrews 5, he said he took men. You understand? Let's read Hebrews 5 and 1. We'll get to that in a short, right? It says, "I have manifested thy name unto the men which thou givest me out of the world." It says, "Thine they were," meaning they were yours, right? That's why it says, "Thine they were, and thou givest them me," right? So the Yahweh gave the elect to Yahushai, and it says, "And they have kept thy word." Right, so they followed everything that Yahushai said, because Yahushai was sent from Yahweh. So everything that Yahushai said unto the elect, and they believed it because they were sanctified from the foundation of the earth. They were chosen from the foundation of the earth to be saved out of judgment. Right. So let me go down into it a little more. Say, "And they have kept thy word." And it says, right, it says, "Now they have known that all things whatsoever thou hast given me are of thee." Right, so they in the elect know that whatever Yahushai said unto them was sent from the Most High himself. Right, and it even have a precept that when Yahushai was on the mountain, and Moses and Elias came to him, right, there was a voice coming out of the chariot, and the voice was Yahweh saying, "This is my beloved son, who I am well pleased. Hear ye him." Right? So this was confirmation that Yahushai was sent from Yahweh. Right? But let me go down into it. I don't know straight from it, because we still dealing with the topic of the angels which kept not their first estate. Right? So by reading Revelation 14, right? I'm going to go back to it real fast, because I don't want to stray. By reading Revelation 14 and verse 3, it says, Revelation 14 and verse 3, it say, "And they sung it as it were a new song before the throne, and before the four beasts, and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 140 and 4,000 which were redeemed from the earth. So reading that, you will get to understand that these men were the men that, following Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. These were the men that was redeemed from the foundation of the earth. Right? These were the men that were sanctified. Right? And verse 4 says, these are they which will not defile with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whatsoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto Yahweh and to the Lamb. So this, right? And then they connect it with the John, right? They connect it with the John 17 and 6, right? Where it says, I have manifested thy name unto the men which thou hast give me out of the world. They were thine, and thou givest them me, and they kept my word. Right? So when you connect that, you understand that these men they're speaking about were the angels that fell from there, that kept not their first estate, because these men were first Yahweh's own. So these men were in spirit, right? And then these men came, in these bodies, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Let's read on a little more. I'll read from verse 8, John 17 and 8. It says, for I have given unto them the words thou hast givest me, and they have received them, and have known surely that I came out from thee, and they have believed that thou didst send me. Verse 9, it says, I pray for them, I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine. You understand? Because they is Yahweh own still. That's why we give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai. You understand? Bahashem Kakodash. That's why we give all praises to the Lord the Most High. You understand? Because it's Yahweh first, then Yahweh Shai. And these men who kept not their first estate is the angels. You understand? The elect. Right? So I'm gonna go right, so I'll jump straight to it now. The book of Jude. Let me just get right. Bear with me while we pass it. Right, this is the book of Jude, chapter 1. Well, it's only have 1. Jude chapter 1, and I'll start from 5. Right, it says, I will therefore put you in remembrance, though ye once knew this. So, going back to the scripture that say, and they sung it as it were a new song. The Lord is going to put us into remembrance. What are you going to put into remembrance? You understand? We lost our heritage, right? And when the Lord came to destroy Egypt, right? From in Egypt days, we lost our heritage because we was in slavery right throughout the years, right? So it say, I will therefore put you in remembrance, though ye once knew this. It say how that the Lord having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterward destroyed them that believe not. Right? And who was they that he destroyed that believe not? They would the wicked Israelites that who murmured against Aaron and Moses. Right? That's why he say afterward had destroyed them that believe not. They were who were murmuring against Aaron and Moses, who wants to build a golden calf and all these other things. Because our people went off. Right? So that's why the Lord say, and going to verse 6, it say, and the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation. So the angels which kept not their first estate, talking about the elect, right? Talking about, the first fruits, right? I'm going to go down into it. Which kept not their first estate, but their own habitation, he had reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day. So when you break it down now thoroughly, it says, and the angels which kept not their first estate, right? Right. I want to do something real quick. I want to go into the letter Bible and go into the word estate. Look up that word estate. This is Jude 6. Jude 1 and 6. Go into the interliner. Right. Reverse interliner. Right, it says first estate, which is arche. Right, it says the beginning, origin, the person or thing that what commences the first person or thing in a series, the leader, right? It says that by which anything begins to be the origin, you understand, the active cause. So we don't have to get more clearer than that. It do get more clearer than that. When you understand that the beginning, which was the beginning of the men of the Lord, the beginning of the elect was in spirit form. That's how you know they were the angels that kept not their first estate. Right? So let me just go back into it. Right? It said the angel which kept not their first estate. The estate is the beginning. You understand? They didn't keep the beginning of them because the beginning of them were in spirit form. Right? When they were the first was Yahweh, the first estate was Yahweh Shai, right? And then the elect, which was the 144,000, right? They were in spirit form, right? When we go down into it a little more, it says, but left their own habitation, right, which is being in spirit, he had reserved in everlasting chains. And what that everlasting chains is, that everlasting chains is this body, right? That everlasting chains is this body that hold this, you understand, that this body that holding your spirit, that house in your spirit, I should say, because this body is like a house for your spirit. You understand? This is the everlasting chains we in right now, because this body is subjected to sin. You understand? This body will always go off and sin. You understand? But in spirit form, it will be totally different. But this body here, where we in, subjected to sin, this body will always be going off. You understand? That's why it's everlasting chains on that darkness unto the judgment of the great day. Right now, unto that judgment is really all the persecutions we are about to hit, all the things that are about to happen, and when Yahweh shall return. Right? Even when Yahweh shall return, until that day, because when Yahweh shall return is when the scriptures say, we will be that is when corruptible will be mean incorruptible, you understand, and from mortal to immortal. So you would not have a corruptible body anymore, because going straight back to Adam and Eve, where Eve went off and made Adam go off, that is when we became corruptible, because we was taking hold of all the philosophies and all the different things from the other nations, right? And the Lord gave us strict warning not to deal with these other nations, right? The three are good and evil, right? So I reach, right? And that is the day on Jude. Right, but I want to go into our next precept in the Apocrypha, actually. First Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 12. Right, let's say, therefore, to the intent that we might give knowledge unto thee by writing, we demanded of them who were the chief doers. And who was the chief doers? You understand? The elect men. You understand? That is where they had the knowledge. They were the chief doers. They created the earth. You understand? It say, and we required of them the names in writing of their principal men, because they were the first principal men on the face of the earth, right? And they will be the principal men now, right? So when you go down into it, it say verse 13, it says, so they gave us this answer: we are the servants of the Lord, which made heaven and earth. Understand? So this is the angels that kept not their first estate, right? And there's many precepts to prove it. You understand? So we're going on into a couple, right? Because the elect men first estate was spirit form. You understand? Being cast into everlasting chains. You understand? Is this body. So now we in everlasting chains. We ought to do the will of the Most High in this body, which is conquering this body, conquering this flesh. You understand? Casting away because the spirit and the body is contrary to one another, right? The spirit fighting against the body, but you had to choose. You had to choose one. You had to choose more to be more spiritual, although you're in this body, in this everlasting chain, right? Because let me get our next precept here just to clear it up a little more. The book of Peter, 2 Peter. Right, this is the book of 2 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 4. It says, for if Yahweh spared not the angels that sinned, talking about the men of the Lord, talking about the elect, right? Talking about the same thing as the cast into everlasting chains, right? For if Yahweh spared not the angels that sinned, which is starting from Adam, right? But cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness. So it is the same thing, right? Same thing. Delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment, right? Let me read down a little more. And spared not the whole world, but saved Noah and the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, right? And I'll just stop right here because really know, because if the Lord didn't spare the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, you understand, and deliver them into chains of darkness, right? Who is the Lord really referring to in this verse? He referring to the elect. They have to go through what they have to go through. The elect have to go through what they have to go through regardless. You understand? Because only being in this body is how you could really be tried. You understand? If you was immortal, you couldn't be tried. But being in this corruptible body is how you would be tried. Right? This is the only way you could really be tried. Well, you know, this is the way we see right now. This is the way we have to deal with it right now. Right? This is the way we have to deal with it right now because we are already in slavery. Right? And we are already in this body. And the only way we could come out of this body is if Yahweh Shai save us, say they deem worthy to come out of this body. That is the only way. Right? So we ought to strive for the truth hard, being in this body, in this corruptible body. Right? Basically, be a watchman and look out for all the philosophies. You understand? Look out for all the wickedness, because that is what going on right now. That is what happened to Adam and Eve. They took hold on all the philosophies and all the wickedness and everything of the heathens. You understand? But the Lord say, with the scripture, the Lord say, envy not the oppressor, choose none of his ways. It say, learn not the way of the heathens. Right? A lot of precepts tell you about it. Right? So dealing with the angels that kept not their first estate, as one of the brothers was saying before, the first estate was glorious. This body fragile. You understand? What you gonna give up for? You already running the race. What you gonna give up? When you give up, you giving up for a fragile body. You giving up to stay your back with your back hurting every day. Your body, you take a pin and chuck your body, you bleeding. That's how fragile your body is. If you just take a little tiny pin and chuck your body, you will be bleeding. Right? It's easy for this body to malfunction and shut down. So what's so glorious about this life? It ain't nothing glorious about this life. Right? We ought to conquer this flesh so that we could inherit our immortal body. Because the Lord say in a twinkling of an eye, this corruptible, this, let me see if I get that precept. Right? There's a lot of precepts. 1 Corinthians 15. And I'll start from verse 51. It says, behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. Right, verse 53. It says, for this corruptible must put on incorruptible, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? Right? And that's a Yapa precept. Right? To return back to that first estate, you have to make it through the fire. Well, we know the elect is going to make it through the fire. Right? But we're not sure who the elect is. Right? We have no clue on who the elect is. We could only hope that we are part of the elect. right? Let's have a precept in second Esdras. Second Esdras. Let me get a precept. I'll go to the book of Isaiah. This is the book of Isaiah, start from chapter 1, and I'll start from 24. Right? This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 24. It said, "Therefore saith the Lord of hosts, the mighty one of Israel, it said, I will ease me of my adversaries and avenge me of my enemies." So the Lord is going to come and purge away this place. He's going to come and release fire on this place and get rid of his enemies. Right? Verse 25. It says, "And I will turn my hand upon thee and purely purge away the just and take away all thy sin." Right? It says, well, we know what that means. The Lord will not come and destroy the place and purge away the place, right? 26, it says, "And I will restore thy judges as at the first." So who are the judges? The judges is the elect. And if he says he's going to restore thy judges as at the first, you go way back to the Jude 1 and 5 when it says 1 and 6 Salakia, when it says the angels which kept not their first estate, and you look back up the meaning estate, the estate talking about the beginning, right? So when you read here in verse 20 6, and it says, "I will restore thy judges as at the first," right? That's talking about the beginning. The first estate talking about the beginning. You understand? Where it originated from, where it happened, where it first was. That's why the Lord said, "You will restore thy judges as the beginning," right? "And thy counselors as the beginning. Afterward thou shalt be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city." Because when the Israelites come back into rulership and they're ruling, you understand, no nation is going to be allowed to come up against the Israelites, obviously, because they would be in their, glory, which is their immortal body. You understand? They would be, the Lord is going to show us, we're going to be in a lot of power, in other words. Because when you are immortal, that is just one, right? But the things that the Lord have in store, you don't know. But that's by the whole nation of Israel being immortal, who could come up against them? You understand? You can't kill them. You can't war them. What is your position? Your only position is subjection. Right? To be subjected under these nations. And it's going to be took into slavery. First thing first. Right? So it's a wonderful thing to be in the truth. It's a wonderful thing to be serving Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Because the elect men are servants of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Right? And I said on this. Alright, let me go to the book of Ecclesiasticus. Yeah, this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach. 36, chapter 36, and verse 15. It says, "Give testimony unto those that thou hast possessed from the beginning." So who is this speaking to? Right? Yahushai giving testimony unto those that thou hast possessed from the beginning. Right? Because Yahushai possessed the elect from the beginning. Going straight back to, the Jude. Right? Let me read a little more. And rise up prophets that have been in thy name." And who has been in thy name? Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, which is the elect men from the beginning as well too. You understand? Which is the elect men from the beginning. Right? Our precept in second Esdras. Right? Let's see if I find that precept real quick. Second Esdras. Here's 1 to the 8. So, let's bear with me. Yeah, just bear with me a little bit. Yeah, well, I ain't gonna get that precept right now. I'm having trouble finding that precept. I know it's in second address. I know it's in the book of second address. I'm just not sure exactly what precept it is. Um, 11. Yeah, well, I'll close it off there because precept is yet to be found, right? So with that, give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, salutation to the Akim preaching the truth to the four corners of the earth in sincerity. And understand, hopefully this video was edifying, and say shalom.